Hey yo guys, what is up? MTG back here in another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what are the top 25 cards that there are in the core 2020 for pre-release and or sealed events. So I figured this would be a good video to get out before pre-release so that you guys all have a little bit of a guide to go off of. And then other than that, I want to give a shout out to Total MTG. You can check him out on YouTube. He's got about 6,000 subscribers, and he kind of inspired this video, and I also kind of took a couple cards from his list and then took some off and put some on and then stuff like that. So there's a couple cards that you'll see that overlap if you already watched his video, but there are definitely some new ones too. That being said, let's hop right on into this video here. So the number one, or not number one, these aren't in any particular order, but the first card I have on my list is Rabid Bite. So Rabid Bite is a sorcery. I'm looking at my iPad, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm looking down. Rabid Bite is a sorcery for 1 green. Target creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. This is a great removal for pre-release and sealed events, just because it works quite well and it's cheap to get and play and stuff like that. So great removal card, Rabid Bite, coming in at number 1, or the first one on the list, because like I said, no particular order. And then disclaimer before we go any further, there are no rares or mythics in this, just because the rares and mythics are harder to get, so I figured I'd only talk about commons and uncommons, the ones that you're most likely to pull as you're drafting or pre-releasing, whatever you want to call it. Next up, we have Soul Mender. Soul Mender is 1 white, 1/1 creature human cleric, and you can tap it to gain a life. So this is great for an early drop aggro, and then you can also gain life throughout the game. And although it's not harmful as a huge threat, your opponents will, you'll start gaining a ton of life before they're like, wait, I should probably get rid of that. So it's a great card to have on the battlefield really early on, and just a fantastic thing overall. Evolving Wilds is next. So far all these are reprints actually, but Evolving Wilds, amazing card for sealed. Evolving Wilds is a land. Tap it to sacrifice Evolving Wilds. Search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. So it's helping get your deck mana fixed so that you can start playing everything you need to. Especially if you're playing like 3 colors, that's an amazing card to have. So if you pull any Evolving Wilds, I would throw those in your deck for sure. Next up, we have Sedge Scorpion. Sedge Scorpion is a green 1/1 with Death Touch. Another reprint, but an amazing aggro card early on in the game, and it's helpful, especially since it has Death Touch and there's not a lot of stuff that has Death Touch. You can get rid of your opponent's big threats super easily, and it's just an amazing card to have on the battlefield. Next up, we have Murder. Murder is a 3-drop 1 and 2 black instant destroy target creature, so it's just helping you remove, helping you have removal for anything that your opponent plays. And it's just amazing because if they play like a 7-drop, you can just use Murder and it's gone. Like, you don't have to worry about it. So amazing card, amazing removal for a pre-release setting. Next up, we have Audacious Thief, 2 and a black, 2/2. Creature human rogue. When it attacks, you draw a card and lose a life. I put this one on here just because it's amazing card draw, and it's also a 2/2 for 3, which isn't terrible. It's not great. There's other alternatives when it comes to just that, but the fact that it's drawing you cards right when you're attacking instead of like just doing combat damage, it's amazing you always want card advantage, so it's an amazing way to draw cards throughout the game. And yeah, and even if you're throwing it into an opponent and then you know it's gonna die, you're still getting a card off of it, so it's still worth it. So it's just an amazing card overall, if you ask me. Next up is Disfigure. Disfigure is 1 black, and it's target creature gets -2/-2. This is good removal for early on in the game, or it's a good combat trick if you need something to destroy your opponent's creature that might be bigger, a bigger creature than what you have and are able to deal with. So it's a great way to just weaken your opponent's creatures and then hit in and kill it. So great card for a limited setting. Next up, we have Gruesome Scourger. Gruesome Scourger is a 3 and 2 black, so it's a 5-drop, 3/3 creature orc warrior. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to Target opponent or planeswalker equal to the number of creatures you control. I love this card because it's just an amazing card to have on the battlefield. Well, it's only a 3/3, but it's still doing damage to your opponent when it comes out. And if you have a ton of early on creatures, this is an amazing card later in the game. Alright, so next up we have Season of Growth. 1 in a green enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. So this is great if you're running a ton of combat tricks, especially with green, since you can do like pump up spells. But really, it's worth it just with the scry ability too. Like, you don't even have to be drawing cards off of it. The fact that you're scrying to be able to get through your deck and find what you need is just an amazing thing to have when it comes to pre-release. And overall, this is an amazing card to have, especially early on in the game. That's a killer right there, because you have so many cards over your opponent. Next up, we have Hallowing Giants. 5 and 2 green. 5/5 reach. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. I like this card because it's a 5/5 reach, so that's already good. And then it comes in with 2 more 2/2s, so it's just, even though you're paying 7, you're getting 2 2/2s and a 5/5, so you're getting a total of 9 power, which is pretty good. And then the 2/2s are great, like trump blockers or whatever, and then the 5/5 is just great to have because it's big and it can block a ton of stuff, and anything with flying it can stop. So that's just, it's an amazing thing to have out on the board, especially if your opponent is playing a lot of flying, because that can be really get out of hand really quickly for you. Next up, sticking with the flying theme, kind of, Sky Knight Vanguard, red and a white, 1/2 flying. Whenever it attacks, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token that's tapped and attacking. Now, I might be a little bit biased, but I love these cards that make tokens as they're attacking. For example, I really like Leonin War Leader, which is, it makes 2 1/1 lifelink warrior tokens when it attacks, so I'm a fan of these cards. So Sky Knight Vanguard I love it, just because it is a 1/2 flying, so it's great early game, and then you're also getting that 1/1 soldier. That's just, it's amazing, and that gets out of hand really quick if it's on the board too long, because you're getting a new token every turn to attack with, so it really can get out of hand quickly, especially early on in the game. So it's a good card if you're running red-white. Next up, Ironroot Warlord, 1 a green and a white, star and a 5 for star for power, 5 for toughness, creature treefolk soldier. Ironroot Warlord's power is equal to the number of creatures you control. 3 a green and a white, create a 1/1 soldier creature token. So this is good. Well, I mean, it's a 3-drop, so even if it comes in and it's only like a 3/5 or a 2/5, that's still great for a 3-drop. Plus, you can make those tokens if you have a turn where you can't do anything, so you're just sitting there doing nothing. You might as well make a token. And it's also gonna increase in power over the course of the game. And if you're running a lot of small guys, which is great in pre-release or draft, because you can get aggro really quickly, and that's really helpful in a draft or pre-release setting. So this being out early, like turn 3, if you could drop this on the field, and then you're putting a ton more weak guys or smaller guys on the field, and this guy gets pumped up, it's an amazing card to have. And I highly recommend running it if you're running green and white. Next up is Tomebound Lich. 1 a blue and a black, 1/3 Death Touch lifelink zombie wizard. Whenever Tomebound Lich enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. So this is helping you cycle through your deck, which is absolutely amazing in a pre-release or draft, because I feel like I've said those 2 words a lot. It's great in a pre-release or draft. Like, I don't know, I've said that a lot. But so this card is amazing. It's helping you cycle through your deck, and it's just a great card to be able to get through your deck and find what you need to win the game. So if you have one combo piece and you only have one of them in the deck, or not one combo piece, but like one win con, and you only have one thing of that in the deck, this card's going to help you cycle through your deck way faster. So I love this card. I just think it's great. Next up is Ogre Siegebreaker. 2 a black and a red. 4/3 for 2 a black and a red. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. So basically, if you have a turn where you're not really playing anything, you basically have a card that's giving you removal spells as much as you want, as long as it's on the battlefield. Plus, it's a 4-drop 4/3, which is not bad at all. But that ability to be able to just destroy stuff is amazing. Because if you had tokens, like really small tokens, you just start throwing tokens at them. They take 1 damage, boom, that creature's dead. Oh, you're gonna block that? That creature's dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an amazing thing to have. And it's basically infinite removal spells as long as it's on the battlefield. And I just think it's amazing. It's just an amazing card for something like a pre-release. Yeah. Next up is Eternal Isolation 1 and a white sorcery. Put target creature with power 4 or greater on the bottom of its owner's library. I like this card because if there's something, like when you're playing green, especially when you're playing green, there's a lot of big creatures. So if there's something that's really big that you can't really take care of, this card's just going to shove it on the bottom of their library, and then you don't have to worry about that anymore. So it's almost like a removal spell. It's just that it's still in their library, and there's still the opportunity to get it back, but it's still slowing them down immensely, and for 2, that's pretty good. It's not as good as something that can destroy target tap creature, like in white. There's a couple cards that do that, but I still love this card, and I think it's really good. The only thing that's not great with it is that it is a sorcery, so it can be slow at times if you really need it at a certain time, but still, it's still a great removal spell in a way. Next up is God's Willing, 1 white, instant, target creature you control gains protection from any color of your choice until end of turn, scry 1. So this card's amazing just because, like, if you have a creature and then they have a combat trick, you just play this and it's like, oh, your combat trick is now useless. Like, I love this card because it's like, oh, you just buffed up your creature by 3? Nope, I'm immune to that color for this turn. Like, it's an amazing card. Plus, you get to scry 1 after. So, I mean, just like, why not, right? Like, let's already be invincible from this color. Why not just scry 1 too? Like, it's great. I don't know. It's just an amazing card to have. Next up, we have Pacifism. I really like this card. 1 and a white enchant creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. So it's basically rendering their creature useless unless it has some other ability on it. But other than that, if it's like a really big creature that you can't really deal with, this is a great way to just stop it from being able to do anything. So I absolutely adore this card when it comes to a limited format, just because it can completely shut down a creature on your opponent's side. Next up, we have Negate, 1 and a blue classic counter spell right here. Just counter target non-creature spell. So if there's any combat trick or any like enchantment or artifact or sorcery or anything, this is going to deal with it. And if it's really detrimental, this could save your game. So if you're a blue player and you're playing blue, I absolutely recommend that card. Although it can be annoying for your opponent. Been there, done that. It can be annoying. But it's a great card for you to help you win the game. Next up, we have Unsummon. For 1 blue, instant, return target creature to its owner's hand. This card's also great because if you can't deal with it, you can just bounce it back to their hand. If it's something expensive, they're going to have to use an entire turn to replay that card. So it's just amazing. Plus, if it's something that like is enchanted or it has like a ton of +1/+1 counters on it or something, this is a great way to put the creature back down to its original power and toughness. So I just love this card when it comes to really a lot of different formats, not just limited. I think it's pretty good. Next up, we have Bone Splinters, 1 black sorcery. Has an additional cost to cast Bone Splinters, sacrifice a creature, and then you get to destroy target creature. I like this card because if you're playing a small creature deck, and I think I wouldn't play this anywhere else, but if you're playing a small creature deck, this card's great because you can just completely shut down an opponent by getting rid of one of their creatures. But it's a 1-drop removal spell, even though you have to sacrifice a creature. But if you have like a 1/1 goblin or something, like, it's not gonna matter, you know? Like, it's like, hey, I'm gonna get rid of your 7/7, and I'm gonna get rid of my 1/1, and I'm only gonna spend 1 black mana to do it. I think that's a fair trade, right? Don't you think? And then your opponent's like, God darn it. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good card. It's a pretty good removal spell overall, as a common especially. Next up, we have Active Treason 2 and a red, a classic here. Sorcery, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. So if you're playing a green player that has a huge creature on the battlefield, you can just steal that creature and probably win the game with it. Like, because then if that's their only creature on the board, then they have no blockers, they have nothing they can do. So I love this card just because it's so, people don't think about it. So it's like, yeah, you won't have anything. I'm gonna win because I have a big creature, and then I'm like, nope, Active Treason, I'll take your creature, take it for a turn. Thanks, man, appreciate it. Thank you for using your entire turn casting that creature. Super duper dope, dude. Okay, next up, we're on 22 here, so we're almost done. Infuriate, 1 red, instant. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. Amazing. Giant Growth is 2-drop, and it's +3/+3. Infuriate is +3/+2. I love this card. It's a great combat trick, and you can even use it as a sort of removal spell because it just works so well. And I just love this card. I think it's an amazing combat trick, especially as a fan. Like, I love combat tricks. So I personally think that this card is great. Because if you're like attacking with like a 3/3 and they have the 7/7 or a 7/6, you can be like +3/+6, +3/+2, your creature's dead. Like, that's it, game over. So next up we have Shock, a very classic one. 1 red, Shock deals 2 damage to a target creature or player. Self-explanatory. It's a great removal spell. I shouldn't say removal spell. I should say burn spell. But I think this card is an amazing burn spell, and it will always be. Like, it's just great, especially in a limited format. Next up, we have Empyrean Eagle, 1 a white and a blue, 2/3 flying. Other creatures that you control with flying get +1/+1. I love this card because if you have a ton of flying guys, you play like 2 of these in your limited 40-card deck, then there's a high chance that they're all going to get +1/+1. Plus, it's a 3-drop, 2/3 flyer. So even if it's not really buffing your other creatures, it's still pretty good to have out on the battlefield. Our final card here today is Lightning Storm Kid, blue and a red, 2/2 flying haste. I love this creature. It's a 2/2 flying haste, 4/2. Like, it's just amazing, especially in a burn deck. If you're playing a burn deck with this guy in it, you can just practically win so early on in the game. I think this card's amazing. Yeah, I think it's just a great aggro card, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful creature in my opinion. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Like always, you can buy merch to help support the channel, or you can check out Patreon, but there's also one other way to do it now. If you use code MTGnerds10 at inkedgaming.com, they sell playmats, dice bags, sleeves, a ton of other stuff. They sell some amazing quality products. If you guys use code MTGnerds10, not only are you getting 10% off your purchase, but you're also helping out the channel. So make sure, I'll leave a link to Inked Gaming below. Make sure you check that out. You're immensely supporting the channel if you buy anything with my code. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next one. If there's anything I missed that you think is really good in limited format or sealed or whatever, leave a comment down below. I'm interested to see what you guys think. What do you guys think is on the top of the list for uncommons and commons? So I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out, guys. See ya.